Hello everyone, Mr. Minnick's my name, math is my game, and today what we're going to be doing here in this video is my Algebra 2 class. They have a big chapter test coming up. So real quickly I'm going to go over each of the two tests. The first one, there's 20 questions, it's multiple choice, and this is their calculator test. Number one, they're going to have to graph something that looks like this. It's not going to be the exact same function, but something that looks like that. So I would notice about that. The negative sign makes it a reflection, makes the graph a reflection. I would notice that the a value of 1/5 is going to make the graph a little wide, or a vertical compression, we were calling that. The second question is going to be something like this. Again, not the exact same question. Y equals something like x squared minus 2. Okay. What I would notice about that graph, the minus 2 is going to take the vertex of that thing and pull it down a couple of units from the origin. Okay, so that's the first page. Shouldn't be too bad. The next page, remember, these are all going to be multiple choice, so the right answer will be there. Number 3 is going to be something like y equals negative x squared plus 1. Again, these are similar, not the same questions, but very similar. So what I would notice about that particular function, the negative means we're going to have a reflection. The plus 1 means that the vertex is going to be up 1 unit from the origin. Okay. The fourth question on their test is going to be something that's in standard form now, something like y equals negative 3x squared, maybe minus x plus 1 or something like that. Okay, so on one like that, they are probably going to have to use the calculator. Just knowing it's a reflection is probably not going to get you the answer. One thing I will say is if you look at the y-intercept, that will probably get it down to a actually, the question in question on the test, if they just get that, and that should be enough to get the answer. Crazy. It's unbelievable. But anyway, question 5 is going to have something like this. Y equals x squared plus 2. What effect does that have on the graph? Does it shake the graph and change it from opening up to opening down? Actually, I'm sorry, they're going to give you that, and they're going to give you this. And they're going to say, what does that do to the graph? How does it change it? Does it make it from opening up to down? Does it translate the graph up or down, or does it make the graph narrower? Okay, so that shouldn't be too bad. So that's the second page. The third page of the test, number 6, is going to be graphing. 6 and 7 both are going to be graphing vertex form functions. 6 and 7 both, something like y equals negative 2 times the quantity x. No, it's not even a stretch. So y equals negative the quantity x plus 3 squared minus 1. A couple things like that. Okay. So on those, make sure you understand where the vertex is. Make sure you understand that they're reflections. And if you just get that, you probably wouldn't even need to punch anything in the calculator. If you know that they're reflections and where the vertex is, well, then you'll have it. So moving on to number 8. 8's going to be talking about translations. They're going to give you something like y equals negative 3x squared, and then they're going to turn that into something like y equals negative 3 times a group of x plus 2 the quantity squared. So they're going to say, well, how did that change? Did that translate the graph up 2, down 2, left 2, or right 2? And you'll have to know that. Okay. Moving right along, question number 9. Keep in mind this one's 20 questions. You're going to be given something in a form that we really didn't talk much about, but hopefully you'll understand what this form is. So on that one, what you should notice is the x-intercept is negative 2. Twice, actually. Twice. So if you were to expand that out, well, you got the calculator you can use. Anyway, so finding the vertex of that's going to be kind of tricky because they are going to want you to find the vertex. Okay, but on that, I would just plug that into the calculator. I'd let that graph it for you, and you'll figure it out right away. Um, Again, notice that it's a reflection. That'll get you down to a 1 in 2 shot of getting that right. Question number 10 is going to say y equals a times the quantity x plus 4 times the quantity 2x plus 10, something like that. And they're going to ask you some things about the x-intercepts and also the vertex. Okay, I think if you know the x-intercepts, that'll get it down to a 50 shot. And then as far as the vertex goes, that's kind of a tough question. I don't want to give too much away. Notice that they leave this real generic. They said that that's A. So you might want to, on the calculator, plug in some arbitrary A values and see what you come up with. Okay. As far as the x-intercepts go, they're in that one, they'd be what, -4 and -5. So, question 11, you're going to be graphing something in that form. You're going to be graphing something like y equals 2 times a group x minus 3 times a group x minus 1. So if you just understand how the x-intercepts work, if the x-intercepts would be 1 and 3, then you'll and that the graph opens up, you'll probably get that one right away. Number 12, when you do that one. So when you look at number 12, it's going to be another vertex form function, y equals x plus 1, the quantity squared, minus 3, something like that. If you just know where the vertex is, know whether the graph opens up or down, I think they want you to put the function in standard form also. But if you just locate the vertex, you'll be able to pick the right one. So I know I'm kind of going fast through this, but we really need to look at the other test. Question 13 is going to be something like y equals 4x squared. Y equals 4x squared. Of course, the vertex is the origin. When the graph opens, well, maybe it'll be -4x squared. But if you just notice whether or not it's a reflection on this question, whether or not it's a reflection, if it's like that, it's a reflection, of course, and that the vertex is the origin, you'll be in good shape on that one. 14 is a lot like 13. 14 is going to say something like y equals -7/12 x squared. And again, if you understand it's a reflection, the vertex is the origin, you'll be able to find the answer to that one. So pretty easy test, I hope. Number 15, just a translation up or down, y equals x squared minus 3. Of course, that would have a vertex at 0, -3. The one on the test quiz, remember, it's going to be different, but same idea. Okay. 16, they're going to give you something like y equals x squared and y equals x squared minus 5. How does that change the graph? Does that make the graph translate to the left, right, up, or down? Okay. Moving right along, number 17. Predict how the graph of y equals 8x squared would compare with the graph of y equals x squared. Well, it's probably going to be what? Is it going to open down now? Is it going to open up? Is it going to be narrower? Is it going to be wider? That kind of thing. So how do those graphs compare? Well, this one's going to look something like that, right? And then this other one's going to probably be a little bit, it's a stretch by a factor of 8, so it's going to look narrower, but anyway. Number 18, they're going to give you something like y equals -x squared and y equals -x squared minus 5. How do those compare? Right 4, left 4, or right 5, left 5, down 5, or up 5. And the last two, number 19 is going to be a standard form function. Something like y equals -x squared minus 4x plus 1. Again, notice that the y-intercept there, notice what the y-intercept is, and you can probably almost pick out the right graph. You might need to do something with the vertex, but again, it's a graphing calculator test. You're going to be allowed to use a calculator. Number 20 is going to be almost like 19. The only difference is they're just going to change one sign. They're just going to change one of the signs. So hopefully, when you take that test, you'll realize, a calculator test. 20 questions. I'm looking for really high scores on it. So that is the calculator test. 20 multiple choice questions. Okay. 20 questions, multiple choice, calculator. Good luck with that one. Now, the one that I really wanted to get to, and in the time that I've got here, question number 1, you're going to be given some kind of function like this. Y equals negative the group of x plus 3, the quantity squared, plus 5. Something like that. Something like that. So the deal is you're going to be asked a lot. They want you to graph it. So, of course, we'll have to graph it. And remember, this is the no calculator, and this is not multiple choice. Okay, so this is the one where you kind of got your work cut out for you. So let me make this kind of big enough. So one like this, the directions will say, in the space provided, graph the function, label the vertex. So my vertex is negative 3, 5. I'd probably, put in the axis of symmetry. So there's my vertex at negative 3, 5. The directions say plot and label at least 4 additional points. Now the vertex doesn't count as one of those 4. It says 4 additional points. So in this one, my a value is negative 1. So from the vertex, I guess I get to go over 1 and down 1. So that'd put me at the point negative 2, 4. By symmetry, I get another point, negative 4, 4. Keep in mind, this isn't the exact question, but it's going to be a lot like it. The a value is negative 1, so over 2 and down 1, 2, 3, 4, because I'm referring to the parent function in case you're wondering how I'm getting that. So that's going to be negative 1, 1, and negative 5, 1. So it'll ask you to do that, sketch and label 4 additional points. Also, I probably should, sketch the function because parabolas are curved. Sketch the function. State the domain. So the domain, it's always going to be this. It's never going to change. Anytime we graph a polynomial, it's all real numbers. State the range. State the range. This particular function opens down. Remember, small number, big number. How about negative infinity clear up to the max, which is 5. And it does include that 5. And write the equation of the axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry, x equals negative 3. So that's the first question. That's worth 10 points. The next question asks you to take that function and put it in standard form. It says take that function from that question. So number 2, take this function and put that into standard form. So what we need to do on that is kind of foil, but some people want to put the cart before the horse. I would leave the negative there. I would expand the x plus 3. So again, I'm leaving the negative. I'm expanding that x plus 3. I'm leaving the negative. I'm expanding the x plus 3. I know it's a lot of work here. I forgot my x. So now I'm distributing the negative. Now I'm distributing the negative. That's negative x squared minus 6x minus 9 plus 5. And so my answer, after all that work, is negative x squared minus 6x minus 4. Again, the one on the test is similar, but that's the idea. The idea is expand, FOIL, distribute the negative if there is one, and then combine like terms. Okay? 15 points for page 1. Page 2, question 3 is going to have a vertex form function given to you. Something in F notation. Something like that. Something like that. So part 1 is going to ask you for the coordinates of the vertex. Part 2 is going to ask you if the graph opens up or down. Part 3 is going to ask you whether this is a vertical stretch or compression. Whether this is a vertical stretch or a compression. Part 4 is going to ask you the y-intercept. And it will ask you to find the coordinates of it. And then part 5 is going to ask you for the x-intercepts. For the x-intercepts. Okay. So, vertex, that's pretty easy. Negative 350. If we look at the a value, it's negative 3. That means the graph opens downward. If we look at the negative 3, it means the graph is a vertical stretch by a factor of 3. Now, the y-intercepts, that's going to require us to do what we did back here. Put this thing in standard form. So in standard form, we're going to have negative 3 times x squared plus 6x plus 9 plus 50. So that's negative 3x squared minus 18x minus 27 plus 50. So that's negative 3x squared minus 18x. The difference between 27 and 50 is 23, and that'd be a plus 23. So my y-intercept would be 0, 23. Okay. So to find that y-intercept, you got to put the thing in standard form. There's a quicker way to do that, but I'm not going to show you. X-intercepts. X-intercepts are the values of x whenever y equals 0. So you'd let 0 equal negative 3 times the quantity x plus 3, the quantity squared plus 50. And then you would solve that equation. Now, keep in mind, this is a no calculator test. So we would have negative 50 equals negative 3 times the group of x plus 3, the quantity squared. If we divide by negative 3, we would get 50 thirds equals x plus 3, the quantity squared. And then you could take the square root. So you get the square root of 50 thirds plus or minus the square root of 50 thirds would be equal to x plus 3. So then you get x equals negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 50 thirds. So that's going to be tough, not going to lie. And they want the coordinates. So in coordinate notation, we'd have negative 3 plus square root 50 thirds, comma 0. And negative 3 minus the square root of 50 thirds, comma 0. Okay. That one going to be tough. Not going to lie. Question 4 on the test. Again, this is the second page. You're going to be given probably something that's a difference of 2 squares. Something like this. Whoop. Something like that. 4 parts. Part 1, standard form. Part 2, the x-intercepts. Part 3, the y-intercept. Part 4, the vertex. Oh. And then part 5, vertex form. Okay. So standard form, you're just going to expand the thing, FOIL it out. That'd be x squared minus 9. X-intercepts would be negative 3 and 3. And they do want the coordinates. So negative 3, 0, and 3, 0. I think that should be in coordinate notation. Okay. The y-intercept, 0, negative 9. The vertex, so that's a tough one. Well, it's actually not too bad, because if you picture that graph, x squared minus 9, that's just translated down 9 units. So that's not bad to find the vertex. That'd be, what, 0, negative 9. So that's a one rare instance where the minimum is the y-coordinate of the vertex. And then vertex form of the function. Well, it's kind of in vertex form. It'd be y equals 1 times x minus 0 squared minus 9 if you wanted to, do that. So that's that one. Moving right along, question 5. This is page 3. You're going to have to solve by factoring. Solve by factoring. Solve by factoring. So it'll be something like x squared minus 16x plus something plus maybe or maybe minus 42. Yeah, equals 0, something like that. And it'll say express the solutions using solution set notation. So, actually that should be a 39. Sorry. Sorry. And that should be a plus. Sorry about that. Okay. So if it was like that, we'd have what, an x and a 13 and an x and a 3. Yeah, we just did these. So 13 and 3. This is just like the quiz. So solution set notation, 3 and 13, that kind of thing. Okay. The one on the quiz, I can promise you it will factor. Number 6 is going to say find the y-intercept. 6, find the y, not the y-intercepts, the x-intercepts. Find the x-intercepts of something like y equals, let me come up with a good one. 6x squared plus 5x minus 4. Okay, something like that. Find the x-intercepts. And I think, again, it'll ask you in coordinate notation. So you'll just set 0 equal to that quantity and try to factor. You get a 3x and a 2x and a 4 and make that a, no, not a 4. How about a 1 and a 4? Yeah, plus there, minus there. So 3x plus 4 would equal 0. 2x minus 1 would equal 0, so you'd get a half and negative 4/3. So in coordinate notation, it'd be negative 4/3, 0, and 1/2, 0. All right. We're almost there. Question 7. I know this is going fast. Hopefully, if you watch this back, you'll be able to play it back. 16x squared minus 280. Oh, minus 256. I don't want to give the exact one. Solve that by factoring. I'll have to see the factorization. 4x plus 16, 4x minus 16 equals 0. So what would that be? Negative 16, 4. So I guess that's negative 4. And the one on the test is probably going to have a fraction on it. So anyway, there's that one. Question 8 is going to be tough, not going to lie. We really didn't go over that, but I expect if you know the forms, you could figure it out. They'll tell you the vertex is negative 4, 6. Some other point is negative 3, 2. And you're going to have to write the equation in vertex form. This particular one, I noticed that my vertex from negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, that if I go over 1 point from that, I went down 4. So I know my a value is negative 4. So y would be negative 4 times the group of x plus 4, the quantity squared plus 6. They want that in vertex form, I think. Yeah. So there's that one. And then the final question. Worth 7 points. They're going to give you some points like 6, 0, negative 3, 0, and then some other point, negative 1, 5, let's say. So this is pretty nasty. You could set up a vertex form. You don't know what the a value is, but you do know you have x minus 6, x plus 3. And you could make some substitutions with x and y. 5 would be a times negative 1 minus 6 times negative 1 plus 3. So 5 would be negative 7 times 2, so negative 14a. So a would be negative 5/14. And I think they want that function in standard form. So then you'd have to write y equals negative 5/4, or 5/14 rather, 5/14 times the quantity x minus 6 times the quantity x minus 3. Foil that out and then put it in standard form. So a couple of the questions are tough, I'm not going to lie. That's it. Good luck. I hope everybody does good. It's been real. It's been fun. Have a nice day.